Hello, everybody. It's Perry. I just wanted to stop in before this it's not really a bonus episode, I guess, but just kind of an episode from the archives that never got released. And I just wanted to say a couple things, having gone through and listened to quite a bit of it, and I guess all of it at this point, and edited it. A lot has changed since this was recorded in August or September of 2020. So bear that in mind. Life changes. My baby hadn't even been born yet. So yeah, that's about the insanity of how much has changed since then. But this is a fun little episode. Swan and I had a really great time recording this, and I think you're going to have a really good time listening to it as well. So I hope you enjoy. We'll see you next week for a main full episode. But until then, have a good week, and bye.
Everybody, welcome to another episode of This Is My Bourbon Podcast. That's the first time I've ever pronounced it that way. Okay, I'm Perry. I'm the host of the show. With me this week is Swan.
Hello.
He's the other part of the show.
Yeah.
We are in the middle of banking a bunch of episodes, and I'm a little tired, but that's okay. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do it right. And that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I think it would be fun if we made sure to cut out any information in which order we were doing these in. And then just based on sobriety alone, if they could guess which episode came last.
To be fair, we did have a break in between.
Shh, you're giving me too much info.
Dang it. Swan, since the last time that I checked in with you, on the last banked episode, has anything happened of note?
No, I went home and had some Hotel Tango and relaxed, and then...
See, you gave it away now, too.
Yeah. Dang it. God, this is so much harder.
It's really difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I ruined the surprise. No, I had some Hotel Tango and watched a movie last night. It was great. That was it.
Yeah, see, we did have a break in between the last one that we recorded in this episode, so... yeah, we're feeling a little bit refreshed. And that's it. Kind of.
What you been drinking recently, Perry?
I'm going to save it because everything that I would have said would wind up in what would have essentially been a previous episode before this banked one. See, it's weird because I have to mentally save things.
I feel like we're a really crappy time traveler movie that's just super worried about continuity right now.
Continuity?
Continuity.
I think people can tell that we might be losing our minds a little bit, too. Anyway, so we are continuing our series on the new benchmark products that have been released by Buffalo Trace. And this week, we're going to be looking at the single barrel product. So we kind of talked about this a little bit, I think. This is really basically 100% in line with the way that they released the Weller single barrel earlier this year.
Yeah.
95 proof, exact same proof. I doubt that it's going to be the same age. I mean, the Weller one's supposed to be like 7 or 8 years old, I think. So I would guess this is probably closer to 4.
Yeah, it's probably more like it.
The label would indicate as such. Swan, did you know that that's the wrong bottle? I have too many bottles on the floor. By the way, floor whiskey, probably a thing by now.
Yeah, hopefully. It's been put in for submission, for people to kind of audit it.
On Urban Dictionary.
On Urban Dictionary.
Continuing the Urban Dictionary definitions that have been spawned of the show. Did you know, Swan, though, that this is handpicked?
Oh, okay.
According to the label. And it's of the highest quality. That's it. That's all I have to share with you.
Yeah. These bottles are very generic in their labeling. It does have me interested in a non-handpicked one. What would that be? Could you imagine sending
They just go that one. And and whatever it is, no matter the quality of it, they have to throw it into the bottle.
I feel like that would be fun.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, I think that would be fun.
That's my new method for going on barrel picks. Is they've got everything poured, and I just go to that one.
But sir, you've not tasted it. So, okay.
I know what I'm about, son. I know more than you do.
Yeah. Yeah, that, or could you imagine just like a little robot walking into Warehouse H, just being like, Wally, and then picking the first barrel it sees.
Detecting bourbon notes. Good stuff. So we are actually comparing this as well with a Buffalo Trace single barrel. And it's actually from a pick that I was on. So I'm interested to see, because these are the same mash bill. I'm interested to see, rather, how these kind of compare. How do you feel about them on the nose?
So we ran into this a little bit with a different one, but it seems like they're kind of taking the Weller Pappy route. The Weller is kind of the less refined, a little harsher, a little darker notes.
Yeah.
The other one seems to be a little more crowd pleaser. This one's no exception to that.
Yeah, I think so too. I actually went for the Buffalo Trace first on my end. You do whatever you want to, but I wanted to reacclimate myself with.
I'm playing Edward 40 hands with two Glencairns over here.
The Buffalo Trace pick is really quite good. Man, it's got like a berry smoothie note on it as well. It's really creamy.
Yeah.
And full-bodied.
Kind of reminds me of those like cream saver candies.
Oh, yeah.
My grandma always had.
100%. Where do they buy those?
They just appear. Just poof.
I feel like I've seen them in like Kroger before in the candy aisle, but I also might have dreamt that or imagined it.
I feel like there's some candies, especially the ones that grandmothers have, that they just have a purse they haven't used in a while, and someone sneaks into their house and refills it, and then all of a sudden they just have those to give out for the next however long.
They're just there.
Yeah.
They just happen to be there. No, that's fair. The Benchmark does smell much lighter on the nose.
It's much lighter, but I wouldn't say it's. I would say it's a little darker.
Yeah.
As far as that sounds conflicting. Lighter as in I'm not getting as much actually on the nose,
yeah.
but
that's
as far as
too.
when I get into it, it is more of a dark flavor to it.
It's lighter, but it's also darker, but it's also in the middle.
Yeah.
And nothing.
Really selling these products.
I think we've learned why people don't bank bourbon podcasts.
I think so.
Just think, we've got 2 more of these.
Yeah. Ooh, that is much more harsh than the BT.
Mm-hmm.
Much more harsh.
Wow, it's got a lot more oak notes to it.
It does.
Ooh.
Which is strange because, I mean, there seems like there's a good amount of age difference between the two, or at least we're guessing. In this one, the I don't know, the BT seems smoother and a little more refined.
Mm-hmm.
And then the single barrel Benchmark, not so much.
No. I don't know which one I prefer, honestly. Because I feel like I like them both for different reasons.
Yeah. I don't know. The Benchmark's leaning a little more like Jim Beamy a little.
Kind of. It is nutty.
Yeah, it's different. I'd be curious if they're going to do, and this is going to be a big point on this episode, is do you feel like they're going to do picks with this in the future?
No. No, I don't see why they would.
Yeah.
Because their picks with this mash bill are reserved for either Buffalo Trace or Eagle Rare.
Mm.
So, yeah, I mean, maybe they could, but wouldn't that take away from the the inventory that would go to something that would actually make more money.
That's fair.
I mean, at most. So this is, I think this is on the shelf for $16.99 or $17.99 maybe. Let me pull it up real quick. But that would kind of mean that maybe they would bump it up to, I don't know. Oh, this is the most expensive of the 5. I forgot.
Well, then maybe they will do picks. Who knows?
Oh my gosh. There is, yeah, actually saying that now, looking at the price, it's $22.99. That means that they could probably make $26, $28 off of a single barrel pick, maybe. I don't know, man. It's crazy to me that this is the most expensive out of the 5, though.
It is. It's hard to explain because it's also my least favorite we've had out of the couple that we've tasted so far.
I have to agree. I think it's the least refined.
Yeah. And that's strange to me because I have always been of the idea that higher proof is going to save something for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's definitely been crappy whiskeys that just end up obscenely high proof, and I've been like, it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't hold up to water. Doesn't do well with ice. Just doesn't seem to do well at all. But the proof's there. This one, adding an extra 5 proof points didn't help it.
Didn't really seem to do much for it.
Mm-mm.
I think that it's actually performing better in a batch setting than it is standing on its own as a single barrel product.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. That being said, I would love to do a pick of this.
I think I would too.
Yeah, this is just one of those like lower shelf, easy to grab.
Yeah.
I think it's a great intro to picks because there's not many picks that are real cheap.
Mm-mm.
Most of them are pretty pricey.
Elijah Craig, Buffalo Trace. Really, that's about it. I mean, everything else is pushing at least $30 for a pick.
Yeah, and out of those, most of those don't sit on the shelf. You're lucky to find an Elijah Craig pick over 10 years that's actually going to sit on the shelf for longer than 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, that is very true. Should we go ahead and... This is a very quick episode if we jump in and review this.
Yeah. I mean...
I don't know what else to do. I mean, like, we've kind of gotten to the point, so we may as well go for it, don't you think?
Let's do it.
Let's just do it. Yeah. So we have a review system of nose, palate, finish, and price. Each category is out of 5 for a final score. Out of 20, Swan on the nose. I'm actually getting like a savory note on there that I wasn't before. I don't think it's enough to save it, though.
No.
I think it's a pretty uninteresting, uneventful nose. I'm going to give it a 2.
I'd have to agree. It's just kind of harsh. It's real hard to pick it up in the glass, and then when you do pick it up, it's not rewarding.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, the palate, too. It's hot.
It is.
It's got a lot of heat to it. A lot of alcohol burn.
It's hot. It's hard to pick out any real redeeming qualities other than just barrel.
I feel like I could breathe fire right now.
Yeah.
Hold a match in front of my mouth, and if I blow out, it's just a Gene Simmons trick.
Yeah. I don't know. There's not much that's saving it.
Yeah, this one's another 2 for me, I think.
I think it's a 2 for me as well. And then if I'm looking at the finish is probably the best part for me, just because the way it sits on my tongue, not necessarily flavors.
Yeah, there's not really much in the way of flavors on there.
No.
2.5, I think.
Yeah, 2.5. No, maybe another 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not significantly better than the rest, but it's my favorite.
Yeah, and I will say, if we're talking about the price, I think the value in this is kind of in its... Maybe kind of in its gimmick. Because there's not a lot of single barrel products at this price point.
No, there's definitely not.
I mean, I honestly can't think of any other than like Evan Williams single barrel. Oh, the new Jim Beam single barrel too. But even then, that is like $22.99, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it is kind of capitalizing on its value or on its gimmick.
Yeah.
But I still think that Jim Beam single barrel is a better bottle.
I do too. And I mean, there's plenty of other single barrels I think that are much better as well. Like the Four Roses single barrels are consistently better than this.
Yeah.
And that's even just like the 100 proof, non-barrel proof selects that they do.
And I think that I would definitely take a Buffalo Trace single barrel over a Benchmark single barrel.
For sure. Sure. But it's also a single barrel. We might have a bad one. You never know.
That is totally possible. I think that this is just... I will give them the benefit of the doubt on this one, just because it could be an outlier.
Yeah, and, for science, I'll probably end up buying like 4 or 5 of them. Just make sure.
Just got to make sure it's not the same barrel.
Yeah, just make sure that it's all good. Just go to a couple different stores, grab this one, grab that one.
To be fair, though, I mean, it doesn't really indicate on the bottle anywhere that it is any individual barrel.
That's true. There's a distinct lack of information on this bottle.
Yeah. Which I find very strange. Very kind of off-putting.
Well, BT's never been big on putting, a crap load of information on their stuff. The biggest amount of information I've seen on a BT bottle is probably the experimental collection.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good point.
And the Single Oak Project. Everything else has been very devoid of, extra info.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe we'd go off of the stamp on the bottle?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Who knows?
Anyway, back to the price. It's like a 3.
I'm going to give it a 3.5. I think it is a 2.5 or a 3 for this particular bottle.
But you think overall it's more in the 3.5 range? I can actually get on board with that.
Yeah, because
I would buy into that.
I just think that there's going to be so much better. There's going to be so much better options as far as barrels and stuff that come out. Picks down the line, maybe. Who knows?
And again, an exact competitor is the Jim Beam single barrel. In price.
It is. And I think another reason why I'm a little upset with this one is we tasted the original Benchmark. The biggest redeeming quality is it's just kind of a bready, cinnamony kind of this and that. It's got some... that's its only quality that I pick out that I like. Yeah. And it has none of that. It has none of that. It is not a variant of the original at all.
Yeah, it's just kind of a pretty flat... It almost reads like a flat Buffalo Trace pick.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
It's just a dud.
I would rather have a bourbon that hit this flavor profile somewhere in its arc of first sip to finish.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to be the full thing.
No.
And this is the full thing.
Yeah, unfortunately. So, I think that it was a pretty unanimous score for us on this one. What's that come out to be? A 10? Yeah, a 10 out of 20. Definitely my least favorite out of these. It's this single barrel in particular. It's not a recommend for me. I don't think. But there are definitely other ones that could surprise us down the line. But with full proof being a higher proof and less expensive, I'm probably going to go for that before I even consider getting the single barrel.
I'd have to agree.
And we haven't reviewed the full proof yet. That's still a couple weeks away for you people.
Or have we?
Yeah, we haven't yet, Swan. We ruined the illusion already, remember?
No.
Anyway, so I think that this is just it's the flattest one so far.
Yeah, maybe mix it with Coke.
Should we do that again? No, we can move on. We can also move on to tips and bits.
Where
we recommend some things for you people to go and check out, listen to, watch something, read maybe. I don't know. What do you got this week, Swan?
I'm trying to remember the name of it. I just watched it last night.
Oh, what about the artist that you recommended to me earlier today?
Oh yeah, Sammy Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Diane's a huge fan of it, of her, and I started listening in the car, and you're like, okay, this is her music. Next car ride, I'll get my music.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, hold up.
No, this is our music.
Hold up. You can play this whenever you want. It's good. It's real good. She has just a way with her voice of just hitting every part of the scale.
It's ridiculous.
And
I was listening to it kind of through the same lens that I was with Jacob Collier, where they are very meticulous in the way that they sing.
Yeah, they made some very specific choices. Yeah. And they are good ones.
I almost want that to be mine as well, just because of how much I enjoyed the couple of songs that I listened to. But I figured I shouldn't, because that would make for the shortest episode of all time of the show. We haven't even hit 20 minutes yet.
You want to just drink something random? Just tack it on to the end?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
What we got? Do you want to do something weird? You want to get some like Armagnac?
I was thinking this Nelson's Greenbrier.
Yeah, sure. Throw that in.
Yeah, I mean, why the heck not? This is one that we've kind of had on the back burner a little bit for a review. So we could do this one. I don't see why not. Tips and bits, though, I'm going to stick with Sammy Ray. She's good. She's really good. I'm excited to listen to more of her music, too.
Yeah, and the best part is we didn't, like, go on that little Spotify, like, best hits. That was just one of her albums.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you told me to pull up one of her songs, and I was like, okay. And I did. And now we're going to do an extra review.
Sure, why not?
This is like the bonus track at the end of an album.
Absolutely. I mean, it's better than doing the Mahalo bourbon again.
I'm not touching that with a big pole.
Woo.
Woo what?
Okay. This is a completely different direction from what we just had.
Yeah, this is 96 proof, by the way. Wait, no, it's not. It's 91. Math is hard. Yeah, it's a lot cornier.
Oh, it's so corny.
Yeah.
This is like your jokes in a few months.
A few months. They've already started.
Yeah. Let's be honest. They've been there since the beginning.
My favorite dad joke, all time. And the Lord said unto Peter, come forth and you shall receive eternal life. But Peter came fifth and he got a toaster.
Does it at least hold like 4 slices of bread?
No, it's a double slice.
Oh, get out of here with that mess.
Wouldn't it suck if it were one?
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is the Nelson Greenbrier, Tennessee, handmade sour mash whiskey.
This was only available at the distillery for the longest time.
Or at least only available in Tennessee. I can't remember.
It was one of the two. But I mean, it went from like something that I saw kind of in their very like stylized display at the distillery on their Instagram page to all of a sudden there is 4 or 5 boxes stacked up at every liquor store around me.
Yeah. I've tasted this since I picked it up.
Yeah.
I liked it on initial try.
Well, and you say corny, and I agree with you on that, but it's not a deterrent by any means.
It's not putting me off.
No. There's been a couple things with like Dickel products in particular where I've had kind of a corniness that it's just like a sour corniness. Like, could you imagine like wet, dry, like the dried corn thrown into water? I don't know why, but I feel like it would smell like that.
So boiled corn?
Yeah, but like the dehydrated like corn just thrown into water. I don't know. It seems weird. This is just good. No.
Just straight up going absolutely not.
No. I just prefer this over a lot of the Dickel products.
I do too. I think it tastes better too, honestly. I think it's got more depth to it. I don't think it just kind of relies on one note. It's sweet, but it also has an earthy quality to it as well towards the back of the palate.
Yeah, it's almost a little scotchy.
I could see that. Ooh.
It's definitely rich. Corn's present throughout the entire thing.
It is.
But it's rich and it's got some variance in flavor.
But see, the thing about the corn, though, is that it gets layered with the other flavors.
Yeah.
I think it's really well balanced in that realm. There's a black pepper note in there, too, that is like every step of the way. It's like flicking peppercorn at me.
Which I'm fine with. I love spicy food, so if the only option is black pepper, there's gonna be so much.
Sorry. I was gonna go on a tangent that I didn't need to. This is good. I think that just hands down, this is a really quality whiskey.
Should we rate this one too?
We may as well.
Might as well.
I think that while the nose is still present, I don't think that it's pleasant. I don't think that. Please don't cancel me. I don't think that it's got a lot to it that really is as inviting as I would like to be. I think the palate itself is where things come to a head.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give the nose a 2.5.
I can, a 2.5 or 2, I think for me is where it's at. I'm going to probably go with a 2 myself. The corniness is, it's not off-putting, but it's just not, I don't go for corn whiskeys very often. So I would probably go with a 2. But the palate, I think is pretty strong.
I do too.
I think the palate is a 3.
I was leaning 3.5, honestly.
That's fair.
Yeah. I think that it's very unique. And I don't really know of another product like it. I think that it's just got a lot to it that's its own.
Yes.
You know, I think as it kind of develops too and dabbles in these different realms of flavor, it's got a lot of interesting things going on. It makes me want to keep drinking it. I like the proof too, honestly. I think the proof really, it is pretty solid for it. I think the finish is incredible too. It just is going and going and going. I mean, it still hasn't quit on me.
I'd be interested to see, because they put out Belle Meade, right?
Yeah.
And then one of their big things is just finishing. I've not really seen a ton of corn whiskeys that are finished.
I can't think of a single one.
Or like a corn forward one.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see what happens with that when they actually do start taking their own product and putting it towards some of these finished products.
Yeah.
Sherry cask, Madeira, something.
Armagnac.
Armagnac. Yes. Just yes. We'll see. I think this is really strong for their base whiskey that they produce.
I think so too. I think I'm also going to give it a 3.5.
Finish, I'm probably going to go 3.5 as well.
Yeah.
I think it's the strongest part of this for sure.
I know that I scored the palate and the finish the same, but I do think that they play off of each other really well. I think that it's a really enjoyable drink, a really enjoyable pour. And price is $30. I mean, value-wise, in that range, I mean, you can get, Elijah Craig for cheaper. You can get Turkey 101 for cheaper. You can get even Maker's Mark and Larceny cheaper than that, depending on where you are. Four Roses Single Barrel is about the same price, depending on where you are as well. Higher proof. I don't know. It's not my favorite price point. I don't hate it. I think I'm going to give it a 3.
Yeah, I'm on board with a 3 as well. I think it's interesting, but I mean, if I'm looking at other stuff that's in this wheelhouse for me, Dickel Bottled and Bond is like right there with it for me.
Yeah, but it's a higher price.
It is, but I'm saying like just comparatively,
yeah,
and just flavor wise,
yeah.
I think this one's doing well. You start putting it up against Turkey, and it's just not even in the same ballpark.
No, I don't think so either.
It's just not even the same ballpark. But I think it's a 3, which puts me at 11.5.
Yeah,
total.
I gave it a 12.5. So, I think if you see it, pick it up. You may as well. It's something different to introduce people to.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the best thing we've had? No, I think it's solid. You could put it into bourbon and Coke. I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that. I think it's solid all around.
Yeah.
So good job, Greenbrier. Nelson's Greenbrier. Well done. You did a good thing. I guess that does it for this week's episode. Boy, we really fizzled out there at the end, didn't we?
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, it's fine.
Yeah. We'll pick it up next week.
Yeah, we have a lot that we're excited about, and unfortunately, it wasn't this week.
Yeah. But, we don't have to talk about it.
No, you got the review. You're good. That's all you need.
I'm not even going to mention that we're doing this review in the title of the episode.
No, just leave it at the end.
Yeah, like I said, it's a bonus track on a CD.
Sweet. Just add one of your tracks on here.
All right, I'm going to play an unreleased number for you guys. It's real organic and chill, so just sit back and relax. Anyway, thank you all so much for listening, especially if you are a new listener to the show. We appreciate everybody who is hopping on board with the show as of late. Swan, where can people find you on social media?
I'm at My Bourbon Finder on Instagram and Facebook.
And I am at Puritor1492 on all social media channels. You can follow the show itself at My Bourbon Pod on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. You can leave us a nice little 5-star review and a rating on the iTunes podcast app. If you have that app, of course, that's where you would do it. But if it is available in your other podcasting apps, I can see that. So we will actually check that out and read it out here on the podcast. And nothing new this week, but that's okay. Maybe next time. Probably not next time. We're banking these episodes. You can send any questions or comments to thisismybourbonshop@gmail.com. And you can also find all of our apparel and merchandise at bourbonshop.threadless.com, including, but not limited to, masks with the podcast logo on them. And all of our other designs as well are available there in the form of masks or T-shirts or backpacks, I think, or towels or art prints. There's lots of stuff in there. Just go check it out. You can leave us a voicemail for our Barrel Ring segment at 859-428-8253, and we'll listen to it here on the show, respond to it. The crazier the better, usually, it seems like. So go ham. If you want to leave us a funny little voicemail, I'll listen to it. I'll probably laugh way harder at it than I need to, because by the time this comes out, I'm going to be sleep deprived. And even if I just see a guy fall over for no reason, it's going to be the funniest thing I'll ever have seen.
Just gonna put Perry in front of America's Funniest Home Video rerun. Have fun, buddy. Just sleep. Just sleep.
This is the one from 1990 with Bob Saget. You can also become a part of our little community over on Facebook. If you just head to facebook.com and search for This Is My Bourbon Group. A couple of questions to get you in there, but then you get to hang out with everybody. That's also where we ask our questions for our Patreon segments, like the pregame chats, which normally come out the Tuesday before our regularly scheduled episodes. But because we are banking these and because I am, a new dad, those are probably going to be saved for a little bit later. And the last call, which is always a ripper and good time. And all of that Patreon content can be found at patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast. For as little as $1 a month, you can help support the show. But at $5 a month is when you actually get all of that bonus content. Swan, let's say a big thank you to one of our patrons.
Who we got this week
as well. I don't know. We did do insurance. This week, we have Kyle from Bourbon Blind, who has been a patron of the show since 2018. Maybe I need to hop over to Kyle's Patreon, too.
Seems only fair.
Yeah, it does. Kyle, thank you so much, buddy, for supporting the show at the $2 tier. We really do appreciate it. And we appreciate everybody who helps keep the show going every month, every week. You keep the lights on. You keep us going. It's really a huge help. Next week, we will be back for another benchmark review. We're getting close to finishing them up, Swan.
Yeah.
I can almost taste it. That sweet, sweet finish line.
Or just the finish of the bourbon. We're drinking bourbon.
Okay, let's get out of here. We'll see y'all next week. But until then, I'm Barry.
And I'm Swan.
And this is my Bourbon Podcast.